G'day, g'day, g'day. It's Mathematical KM. Remember their initials? Keith Malumbi, not a title. My last couple of games and the videos I've made, I've both been against unrated opponents, and one game took all of 10 moves, which is difficult to achieve with the hippopotamus defense. Typically, there's no blood until move 15. And the other one last night was 49 moves and a real arm wrestle the whole way through. So it had me thinking about the unexpected speed bump of an unrated opponent. And I've known for a while that it was my highest rated victory over the board was my 5th game over the board. And you're going to look at me, ask you what year you think it might have happened? 2022. I had about 30 odd years of no chess at all. Queen's Gambit, you got a lot to answer for. You got me back into the game. And this is against an opponent rated 1759. And I didn't have a rating. So I am that speed bump. It'd be a good name for this video. I am that speed bump. Now just to show you, just looking back in history, we have, this was sent on 8th of November in 2022. In other news, I beat Adrian De Noskowski, FIDE 1759, in round 6 of the Hetherington Memorial Tournament at the Tuggeranong Tournament. I gambited a rook and a knight. Well, we'll see about that. We'll take a look at the game in a minute. But that's kind of interesting. And slightly earlier email on the 17th of August, talking about how I've just checked out a chess club for the first time in my life. And played a iron English and a white line. A black line but with the white pieces. And what did I get there? A fighting loss and a draw. There you go. So that's kind of interesting. So I was playing Adrian De Noskowski. And in addition to 1759, very impressive player just by the rating, the ACT Chess Champions, the ACT, for if you're in American or anywhere else overseas, that's the Australian Capital Territory, where Canberra, the capital, is. And if we flick down, 2015, 7 years prior to our matchup, there he is, chess champion of Canberra, and I was the speed bump. So let's take a look at that game. Here let's get at things. Here we go. So we are playing. I'd been looking at Simon Williams' Iron English course and videos on YouTube. Did a little bit of prep before I joined the club, playing with the kids at the school, where I started a chess club after Queen's Gambit. So it's a little bit symmetrical there as well. And moving forwards, typically the king will end up here. It's a long time since I've seen this game. I've been playing the hippo all this year. But let's see. So this is the Botvinnik group in the middle. Often you'll try and get a knight in the middle and your fianchetto, your bishop. And that's the essence of the Iron English. He's rerouting a knight. I've got a bishop out there. That knight's coming around. A little bit of prophylaxis, denying this square. Computer suggesting that he throw his knight in. He moves a pawn forward. Okay, I've got the queen lining up. I'm thinking about... can I remember what I was thinking about? I'm thinking about getting the bishop to h6 and getting rid of... swapping those bishops off and infiltrating with my queen. And let's remember that. That's often part of the plan. There were some things from my 5th game that I did well. Obviously, I beat a past Canberran chess champion. So obviously going to be some things I've done well, but we're about to see a few things that I'd like to think I wouldn't go down the same path today. So he's brought that knight out there. I'm throwing the pawn storm. I want that pawn out of the way. Open up that file. Get some sort of an attack. Okay, and let's see, that knight is coming in. And the computer's suggesting, well, moving that rook anywhere, rook A to E1 or rook A to B1, or killing the knight. All of these things are about stopping that fork. So I don't want to let that fork come about. And, I can see that plain as day today, now, hindsight, and also a couple of years of playing the game again now. But wasn't to be. I just started the pawns moving. You can see the eval's already gone 2.3 to black. The one thing that I think I did do well in this game, we're about to see it, is not caring about the losses, but pressing forward with an attack. It's not always going to work. Obviously, with that fork, moving the queen. Okay, so he's gone up the exchange if I was to just take the knight with the queen. And that's actually the computer recommendation. And then I'd be down -2.5. But if you're down 2.5, the odds are if he maintains that advantage, and he's a past chess champion, very high rated, it's almost saying, I give up. I'm going to let you beat me we'll go into an end game, you'll be up 2.5, I'm going to lose. So in some ways, 2022, Keith, did pretty much the right thing, not taking that knight. Pushing the pawn. Look at that eval. Down it goes. And the material, he's up +5. He brings his knight. I take the queen to where it can protect the bishop. He takes it. I bring it. My queen's in a fairly strong position. It's still looking at hopefully getting to infiltrate. He brings his bishop forward to threaten the queen. And that dark bishop, that may have been in some ways a mistake by... what am I doing? Telling him where he may have gone wrong. But that dark bishop was one of the best defenders of the king and preventers of the queen coming in. And so die. Die, you dark squared bishop. And of course it does let him get a pawn fork, which he takes. But of course, sure, you got a pawn fork, and this is kind of where it's at gambiting a couple of pieces. I'm throwing away a knight for the price of getting my queen to h6, close to his king, and I've got other pawns and one or two pieces that are potentially going to help. So, can I get an attack? Will it work? He's up +8. What do? Do I take the pawn? Taking the pawn is what the computer wants me to do. It's very sensible, but it's not part of my big, beautiful attack. Pawn forward. I'm thinking about if I can get another pawn forward, even if he takes, I take. If I end up with a pawn here, then we're threatening mate. So let's see how that looks. He takes my pawn that way. Okay, I take. He moved his king. Actually, let's just go back one. The computer's sensing the danger, and it's suggesting that he should throw his bishop away and, try and defuse my attack. The computer's saying, take the f5 pawn. The rook will take it, but then I haven't got half of the little clever ways of threatening mate anymore. But very human move, even for a past Canberran chess champion, and 1800 if you round to the nearest 100 rated player. He instead moves his king out of the way. Now, at this point, the computer actually likes moving the pawn forward. But I thought, let's get an additional threat in, and that is with the bishop here. When I move my f-pawn forward, then I'm threatening mate with queen takes h6. So, trying to confuse the issue a little here. That's interesting, because now with the pawn forward, that makes a lot of sense. Giving up the rook. Again, we're talking about on this particular night, this particular speed bump, my champion opponent didn't feel like taking a pawn with a rook going down the exchange. Does that cover it when you're taking a pawn and losing a rook? And even after the pawn and the rook, I'd still be threatening mate here. There'd be ways out of it, but he didn't choose to take the pawn. He instead blocks the bishop and the mate threat of queen takes h7. So I take the rook, and again the mate threat is on. This pawn can't take the bishop. The bishop is making this mate threat, and it's at this point, and my opponent has been feeling, I guess, the most unexpected pressure from the speed bump of the unrated player playing his fifth game. He's up +3. He had been up +8 until putting his rook in the way of the bishop. I'm offering the bishop, and if you look at the three best moves here, I'm guessing he was feeling a little rattled. I don't know. I'm trying to remember back 3 years here. But the point I'm going to make is that there is the old "there was one move and you found it" deal. There's one move, queen to g8, which prevents the queen takes h6 mate. Second best is he loses mate in 3. Third best, he loses mate in 1. And he takes the bishop with the pawn. Checkmate. So I guess you could say I've gone downhill ever since my fifth game of over the board at a chess club in a proper tournament. It wasn't FIDO rated, it was ACF, the Australian Chess Federation rated tournament, the Hetherington Memorial. But yeah, I'm putting a year into the hippo, as most of you guys who view my videos know, but I have got some fond memories of the Iron English, and once I feel I've put the hippopotamus into my quiver as an arrow that I can pull out, I do think I'll be going back and revisiting the Black Lion and the Iron English, and maybe, not sure, but I'm going to try for another little suite of openings. But there you have it, Mathematical KM's biggest win, and it came when he was a speed bump facing a Canberran chess champion. So bye for now, and watch out for speed bumps, they can surprise you.